So have you girls heard of the woman who wired 830K to wait, don't click off, wait, you guys, to Brad Pitt? I swear this video was not made to make fun of her. I actually have, you know, tangible things that I feel we can learn from this story. But how do you wire 800K to Brad Pitt? Like, it don't even be making sense, you know. Anne, which is the Caucasian woman, she's 53 years old, she lives in France, who wired the money to Brad Pitt, didn't even lose me when she actually believed that she was communicating with Brad Pitt. That's not where she lost me, because that's the type of delulu I be on. Okay, I legit believe that if Brad Pitt knew about me, if he knew who I was, he would actually be into me. Okay, I'm that delulu. She lost me when she gave him money though, because aren't you supposed to be getting money from Brad Pitt? Like, make it make sense. I feel like if Brad Pitt was to ask me for money, like, you know what, before he would ever get the chance to ask me for any money, I'd ask him for some. What? You got millions. How about you give me 800K? You guys, the world is insane. And the craziest thing about this story is that at some point, obviously 18 months later, you guys, the woman finally realized that, you know, she wasn't dealing with Brad Pitt here. Obviously she was dealing with a fraud, because it came out in the news that Brad Pitt was dating this French woman called Ines de Ramon, I believe that's her name. So she was confronting him about it, and these people edited an entire video, you guys. Obviously with AI, you gotta respect their dedication to the hustle. You gotta respect that. Put some respect on these guys' name. Their dedication to the hustle is actually ridiculous. Oh, crazy story. But let's recap, because like I said before, I legit do believe that there is 3 things that we can learn from this story. So there is this Caucasian woman, 53 years old, her name is Anne, and Anne was actually married to a whole millionaire. You guys, the woman was actually married to a whole millionaire, okay, long before Sprinkle University and graduated. Okay, so her husband was 19 years her senior, so he's almost 20 years older than her, and she was married to this multi-millionaire. And obviously she felt lonely, so she was on IG. And I have to say that it was smart of the people who were calling her that Brad Pitt didn't approach her directly. So the first person who added her on IG and wanted to be her friend, I believe it is IG, it was social media, but I'm pretty sure it was IG. So this one approached her, and you know, they're kind of friends, like they chat every day, they chitty chat little things, blah blah blah, ta ta ta. And then she liked some of Brad Pitt's pictures, you know, on the gram, like I would. I don't care what anybody says. 40 years old Brad Pitt, that's my man right there. Okay, like, you know, nowadays he's washed up or whatever, but Brad Pitt, when he was anywhere between 20 to 40, that man was fine. Okay, anyway, so she likes a couple of pictures of Brad Pitt, and then the woman writes her, that's my son, like, you like my son picture, let me put you in contact with him. I swear this video can never be serious. I know you girls are fed up, and I'm so sorry, but the whole story just it's just hilarious to me. But I'll get it together, I promise, right? So she's talking to Brad Pitt, and he's acting, or he's embarrassed, he's shy that his mother is introducing him to women, blah blah blah, ta ta ta. The rest is history, you know. Of course, these people always begin with small sums. So I believe the first sum she sent him was like $500, and then $5,000, and then, you know, at some point she wired him over 100K, you guys, like in one transfer. She sued her bank, and I do believe she has a case, because they should have asked. Like, anyway, so many things about this story is actually crazy, really lunar, if you ask me. But whatever, I do believe that, you know, there are things we can learn from this woman's story. I know I laughed, but I actually have tremendous empathy for her. Like, imagine the world finding out that you were conned by a fake Brad Pitt. That must be really embarrassing. I can't even begin to imagine where her mental health is at the moment. Like, thought and prayers for her, because I know that she's going through a lot. Anyways, you girls, I believe the first thing we can learn from this story is that you cannot marry solely for money. Now, I'm not saying that's what Anne did, but you know, if we take into consideration the age difference between her and her ex-spouse, we can think that, you know, money was probably a big factor in her deciding to marry this man. And this is what I say all the time when I see the girls on TikTok under Shira Seven's comment being like, yes girl, I'm trying to do exactly this, blah blah blah, ta ta ta, let's focus solely on the bag. You can't focus solely on the bag, otherwise you're going to be miserable. Hear me when I say this. And you know, I'm hurt and saddened for this girl, because a lot of time I know that these are just hurt women who are in a relationship with a man where they gave way too much of themselves, they were paying 50-50, and the man probably still ended up cheating on them or leaving them, and now they are so hurt that they be in Shira 7 comment section being like, yes, now I'm gonna solely focus on the back. You can't. You have to focus on more than the back. You have to actually like the person you're gonna wake up next to every single morning, otherwise it just won't work. I don't care what anybody says, like, nobody can be for 20-30 years, you know, unless you are able to dissociate like an MF, okay, dissociate like nobody else. No one can spend 20-30 years with somebody they actually don't like that. Just doesn't make sense. Again, you're going to be really miserable if you marry a man solely for money. And that led, again, this is just my opinion, in the end story, that led her to being really lonely, to feeling really lonely. That's how she ended up, you know, talking on social media with people all day anyway. I mean, who has the time to chat with someone on ID all day every day? You have to be really lonely in order to do that. And I guess that the second lesson we can learn here is that loneliness can and will really get to you, okay? There are studies about how people who are lonely, I'm not talking, you know, a moment of loneliness here and there, we're talking chronic loneliness, okay, will have you die before your counterparts, will have you depressed more than your counterparts, will have you sick, like you're going to develop chronic illnesses at higher rates than your counterparts. So being chronically lonely is actually really bad for your mental and physical health. So if you're somebody who spends a lot of time by yourself like I do, make sure that you have hobbies that you engage in that help you not feel so lonely. Even if you don't get to see your friends and family members, make sure that you stay in touch with them on the phone via WhatsApp and stuff like that. Try to meet new people through meetups and platforms like that. Just try not to be all the time by yourself at home doing nothing, because an idle man is the devil's workshop, and that's how you're gonna have all this time to be chatting up with strangers. And before you know it, you're spending hours on IG wearing your money to strangers. But seriously though, humans always lived in community, okay? We need a village. That's just how we are built. That's how we were wired at our core. We are not made to be in this much isolation. This is actually the first time in history that humans are as isolated as we are. And we are seeing the consequences of this. I think we all heard of this article called The Loneliness Epidemics. It was a study about young men in America, and it proved that young men are unaliving women at higher rates because, you know, they can't get them to go out on dates with them or get in a relationship with them. So loneliness is a no-no. Make sure no matter what you do that you do not get extremely lonely and isolated for months and months and months and years and years and years, because even if you don't end up wiring your money to some stranger who is in Ivory Coast or God knows where, you are going to develop again, or you are at least at risk to developing chronic illness and dying at a younger age than your mates and counterparts. The third thing that we can learn from Anne's story is that you always know the truth deep down inside. In the reportage, Anne actually recognized that she has blocked the fake Brad Pitt over 40 times, you girls. Over 40 times she blocked that man, and you know, he found some way to get back in contact with her. But what that tells us is that deep down inside, Anne knew she was getting got. She knew she was getting conned, okay? She just didn't want to face the music. She just enjoyed the attention way too much, the validation, the constant text messaging. Again, she enjoyed not being alone. But deep down inside, she knew that she wasn't talking with Brad Pitt. She knew that she wasn't on her way to Los Angeles to get married to Brad Pitt. Like, she knew it wasn't true. if she didn't know that deep down in her soul, then she wouldn't have blocked him 40 times. So she knew. And this is my message to you, is never ever ever unsee what you've seen. Never ever ever disregard what your sixth sense is telling you deep down inside, what you know to be true. Once you peep game, act on it. Do not tell yourself stories. Do not, try to disregard it by saying, oh, they're having a bad day, or this, that, and the third, or maybe they said it because of this, or maybe they did it because of that. No, baby. They did it and you've seen it, and now you have to act upon what you saw, what you know to be true. So do not gaslight yourself. Do not disregard what you know to be true, what they've done or what they said. Don't try to justify it in any way, shape, or form. Okay, act on it, because you saw what you saw, you know what you know, so now act accordingly. And I believe these are the three things that we can learn from the woman who gave 830K to Brad Pitt, or the man who, obviously was behind the mask pretending to be Brad Pitt. The man was actually found, and he is in Benin, I believe, and he's also impersonating Kenny Reeves. Was that his name? Is the man with the black long hair? A crazy story, you guys, like a crazy story. The fact that people are out here really believing that they're talking to celebrities and sending them money, that's really something. Oh, and a fun thing, Anne has shared once with the fake Brad Pitt that she had cancer when she was 27 and she almost died, and he actually got most of the money from her by telling her that he was suffering from cancer. So see, I tell you this all the time, girls, do not overshare with men. Don't tell men your deepest, darkest secret, your trauma early on. Do not. Like, they are going to use it against you. Of course, this is an extreme example, but even in, everyday normal relationship, men will always use what you tell them in confidence early on to get at you, win arguments, harm you. So be mindful what you share with them until you have deciphered that this is somebody you can trust, that this is a relationship that you are safe in. Do not go around telling them how your ex treated you horribly, this, that, and the third, because again, they find use it to win arguments, they find use it to harm you in some way, shape, or form if they have bad intention. You guys let me know, have you heard of this story? I heard of this story already, I think 10 days ago. Was it 10 days? A week? And when I tell you I laughed, I'm not even gonna front, I did laugh a lot, because it's just big, you guys. Like, it's big, it's big. We hear about things on social media all the time, but this is ginormous. Big Brad Pitt, that's a big thing to believe. But yeah, every day we live and we learn, and every day I get surprised by how naive people out there can be. Like, I think I'm too much of a pessimist, but then I hear about these stories and I'm like, yeah, I'd rather be more of a pessimist than, fall for things like this, because baby, 830K, it's a whole lot of money, especially, divorcing your millionaire husband for that. Ma'am, I have so many questions. I wish I could interview Anne, because I have so many questions, but I guess most of them are going to stay unanswered, and I'm just rambling at this point and yapping, so I'm gonna go. Again, let me know if you guys heard of this story on social media before and what you thought. Do not forget to give this video a thumbs up if it made you chuckle. Subscribe to my channel as well, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Bye guys, thanks for watching. Mwah.